Welcome back, Guardians, to another Embrace Destiny video. KazBHD here, thanks for stopping by. We continue our video series on improving Destiny's immersion, today talking about hints and tips provided in-game. Destiny is a fairly vast game when you think about it. There are so many destinations and so many types of activities that it can be pretty overwhelming. Patrols, public events, lost sectors, crucible in different game modes, strikes, nightfalls, raids, forges, menagerie, the list goes on. And there's a wide spectrum of players in this game, from the casuals to the hardcore, PvP slayers, PvE DPS machines, lore hunters. I love how much variety there is, and I really love how this game reaches such a vast community of players. However, one aspect of this game that has forever been a problem has been in-game communication. I'm not talking about player to player, although that has been an issue that has seen some improvement over time. No, I'm talking about how the game communicates information to you, the player. Outside of certain bounties, there are no hints, no tips. Loading screens are super long on console and super short on PC, and if you want to know how to do anything, most likely you'll turn to Google, Reddit, or YouTube. Now, in my last video, I suggested that Bungie needs to improve their official communication to help players know where out-of-game information is available. On top of that, I believe more has to be done in the game itself. Some justification here. Whenever suggestions are brought up, especially if it will likely involve some time, effort, or cost on Bungie's part, there is pushback from the community. And rightly so. Time and money are limited, and prioritization is key to building and moving forward. However, with New Light coming in September and the game moving to an a la carte model, this communication will become more important than ever. While we don't know the exact details yet, Bungie is aiming to get new players to new content as quickly as possible. So new players who are able to make a character, explore some planets, and then jump into the newest raid on day one, these players are going to skip a lot of content and learning that many of us have had to do. Now, I have no problem with Bungie designing it this way, for players to dive into the endgame head first. That's great. It's great that players are able to play what they want. However, Destiny is built on a diet of new hotness and upgraded classics. What I mean to say is that both new content as well as reasons to do old content form the core of the experience in Destiny and keep players playing. When new players suddenly go back to Year 1 and Year 2 content for some kind of new quest or just in general, or they expand on the classics of patrols, lost sectors, and public events, they will likely find themselves a little lost. Without proper communication on how or what to do, many may feel frustrated and decide Destiny is not for them after all. That's the incentive, to keep players playing. I am suggesting that Bungie needs to improve in-game communication, helping players make sense of the world so they continue investing in it. So let's look at a specific example, making public events heroic. As I mentioned in an earlier video, it's almost a joke amongst the community that Blueberries, new Guardians, don't know how to make events heroic. Indeed, they are meant to be a puzzle. However, when you see level 50 Guardians roaming around, or those on the forums who seriously do not know how the mechanics work, it is frustrating. Have you done the Corrupted Strike recently? Did your fellow Guardians know to toss the relic to you for extra damage? Or did they just blindly throw half a dozen relics to drop the taken shields? It's a real problem. It gets worse when we consider that Bungie will reuse but modify mechanics. I mean, how many different ways do we move relics in this game? This one can be thrown, this one can't, this one should be passed, that one should be dunked. It's not too complicated, but the complete lack of information doesn't help. Now, there are basically two challenges to addressing this problem. The first is cost. In order to add more information, it will take time. Time in which developers are not fixing bigger problems or working on new content. Second, part of Destiny's genre is mystery, and no one wants hand-holding. It's an interesting thing that the mysterious nature of the Destiny universe almost justifies no hints or tips, the lack of Grimoire in Destiny 1, and so on. Players want to feel rewarded. We don't want an arrow to follow, but at the same time, we want everyone to be on the same page. So here's a suggestion. What if, after you complete a public event or activity for the first time, what if hints and tips became available then? Imagine this. You're new to the game. You run across a Taken Blight event. You're excited. You kill everything. Event over. This one didn't go heroic like that other one did. What does that mean? Did you do something wrong? When the event ends, your ghost could say, "Hold on, I got something," with a prompt to take out your ghost. If you do, on the right side of the screen, there are tips regarding what just happened. Keep it short and sweet, such as, "Take in blight event, destroy massive blight to prevent corruption." Something like that. Short, simple, makes sense. The next time a player joins that event, ghosts can chirp, reminding the player that the information is there, and that information will always be available while interacting with the event or rallying to the flag. This advice would be a step forward, I believe, as it would help players understand what drives the event without telling them exactly what to do. Many players will likely still not get it, wondering why the major blight is immune, and Bungie could add more detail to the text, or have ghosts say something, or have ghosts react if and when a player enters the smaller blights. Or not. Maybe they'll leave it as a mystery the player can solve by either communicating with others, investigating it, or checking out out-of-game information, such as I mentioned last time. As I mentioned, this kind of change would require time and effort and cost. Unfortunate, of course, but I think tips could be included in this way which help players without babysitting them, without holding their hands but ensuring that they learn how to play. Those of you who already know how to do every single event and know where on Google and Reddit to look it up may be wondering, what's in this for me? Well, like I said, go do the Corrupted Strike event, go do Tier 4 Blind Well, and when you run into Guardians, Blueberries who don't know what they're doing, it will really frustrate you, and maybe you'll feel differently about having more tips in the game. Bungie could reuse Ghost voice lines. I'm sure Ghost has said something like, "Hold up, what's that? I've got something," before, which could be resampled. And the text may take some time, but there are people in the community who have made infographics before, likely in different languages. It would still be work, but it could cut down to something like approval, checking, and coding into the game, rather than writing it all from scratch. Again, the justification is keeping players in the game and helping those of us in the game have a stronger and better community. If a player tries New Light, enjoys the gameplay, but has no idea what to do or how, they may not invest. And now the largest free-to-play sandbox is empty. Now, Bungie has been improving on this to mixed results, I think. Here's an example where Bungie did put some help in the game, but it was completely lost on me and many others. Ascendant challenges. Each week in the Dreaming City there is a specific Ascendant challenge. Petra has a bounty asking you to do it, but maybe you're not sure where. You explore around, but you can't find it. Then, you enter a lost sector, but you fail to see the line of text on the bottom left that says, "The seam between realities grows thinner," or weaker. You push forward, but amongst the music and the action, you miss the second hint. I did not know until I started wearing a headset while playing that the Ascendant Challenge portal will actually make noise, even if you're not Ascendant. It murmurs as any taken blight does, but I did not notice this until I almost had the Cursebreaker title. Now maybe you did. Maybe I was just deaf and blind. But I like to think of myself as an observant player, always looking for in-game clues rather than Googling things. And I know the Dreaming City is meant to be a mystery, even more so than other destinations. But those clues were a little too easy for me to miss. My thinking here is that similar to the public event idea, our ghosts could point us in the right direction. Even just have the ghost read that line, "The seam between realities grows thinner," or weaker, I can't remember. Have him read it once, and only once, the first time you're in that region for that Ascendant challenge. Maybe have him say, "I'm getting something on my scan, but I can't locate it." This might help players connect the dots to the only other clue in the game, the text on the tincture of Queensfoil, how it says it is to be used to help explore secrets. These problems of communication are only going to become more pronounced in September. New players who don't know about Bungie.net, Reddit, or the various resources made by the community may feel quite overwhelmed, or they may breeze right by content without learning how to do it properly. New players who can make a character and dive into the newest raid in an hour are definitely a lot more likely to miss out on the learning stages involving activities and events. Players who are used to patch notes in their game may feel quite lost logging into Destiny and seeing a new change that wasn't announced. What do you think? Any merit to my ideas? Got suggestions on how to improve it? Or do you disagree with me entirely? Feel free to fill up that comment section. Let's keep it civil. If you want, check out the link below to my Discord where you can keep the conversation going with my community here and on Twitch. That's it for the video today. Pretty excited to have ideas to share. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.